Nope, you gotta change the name.
Hello.
Oh, I do.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to stand. You can be Kane. Kane is our Australian friend, and he's an opal miner. So, this is Connor Boyack, everybody. Like I said earlier, we started around like 9:30 or 9:40, and we're just so excited to have you on the show. This is our son, David, and he's pumped to talk to you for a few minutes before we get underway.
Hey, David.
Hi.
How old are you?
I'm 10, and
Cool.
I love your Tuttle Twins books.
Great. How
And
long have you been reading them? Did you find out about them only recently, or has it been a little
It's
while?
been a while.
It's a couple of years.
There's still like 2 ones that I haven't read, but
Okay.
I love them, and
What's your favorite one? Do you have a favorite?
I like the food truck fiasco.
Ah,
and
you even got it with you. Cool.
Yeah, I brought all of them down. So
That's cool.
yeah, I still need to read like 2 of them. So
Are your parents slacking that they haven't got you the latest books?
well, I'm pretty sure. Well, do we have?
What's the newest one? Do we have the newest one?
Do you have
think he
the
just came out with it.
Education Vacation is the newest one.
No,
we don't have that one yet. No.
Don't have that one. And then do you have the Fate of the Future?
No.
Am I slacking
Okay.
or what?
Yeah.
So those are the last 2. So
The
maybe
last
that's
2.
'cause-
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have the? Oh man, what's our 8th book? It was not Search for Atlas. You probably have that one.
Yeah, I
Yes.
have that one.
It was,
I can see
it was the show business
Yes.
one.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, cool.
I still need to do
Yeah.
that one.
So, and we homeschool too, so
Yeah,
it's really great
so-
that we get to pick and choose and utilize this how
So
we
David,
want
do you
to.
have younger siblings?
Yes, I have my sister Jane. She's going to turn 5 in October. And
Okay.
then my brother, he's 6. His name is Chris, so yeah.
Cool. That's kind of the right age range for all the books. Do they read them at all, or do you kind of keep them to
No.
yourself?
I don't know. They don't read them. I
He's
don't
been
think
keeping
they're.
them to himself so far, but
Yeah.
this school year will be different.
Yeah, I need
That's
to.
cool.
Chris is starting to read.
Yeah.
Well, David, you're like a step ahead of pretty much like 99% of kids out there. Did you know that? Like when kids like you are reading from these books, they know way more than pretty much every other kid, because in school kids aren't taught this stuff. And so you've kind of put yourself a step ahead from all the other kids your age, because you're learning this stuff. Most adults don't even understand this stuff. So you're,
Yeah.
you know, walk around the grocery store at a park where you look around at all those adults and you can think, I know more than they do about a ton of stuff. So
Right?
Yeah.
I love it.
that's cool. Well, I was glad to meet you, David. I'm glad your parents let you stay up late enough to say hi.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah, we had to. You'd been crushed.
Oh yeah, he would have been super devastated.
And like you mentioned it like months ago, and I was like, what are you going to ask? Just been waiting. But yeah.
That's cool. Well, David, I it's kind of weird for me to have like young fans and stuff, because I
Yeah.
still am not used to the fact that there's all these kids out there who really like the books and
Yeah.
want to say hi. So I'm glad I could say hi to you.
Yeah,
All right.
it's- I love this. So I don't know.
I'll see you in your next book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
Well,
give
I
me
hope
a
your
hug.
parents get you the next couple ones and that you enjoy them.
Oh, we
Yeah.
will.
Yeah, if you want to keep
Thanks,
those.
honey. Oh, I will for sure. All right, give me a hug. I love you. Oh, you're so cute. You did great.
Thanks for bearing with us.
Oh, that's great.
No, they're in the sandwich. Thanks, sweetheart. I love you. Tiptoe when
What's
you
up,
go
Ben White's
upstairs,
here.
okay? All right. Connor, thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Opportunity.
Yeah.
I was at Pork Fest a couple of years ago, and I remember there were these few kids that kind of came up with all their books, and they wanted them autographed. And
Yes.
that was like one of the first times when, like, it had happened a little bit before, but the fact that they brought like all their books and there were a few kids together, that
Yes.
was the first time where I was like, this is kind of weird that there's like thousands of kids out there who are like, oh, I want to meet Connor, and I'm like, I'm just a dude. Like, it's kind of weird.
So tell me how you came up with this whole series idea? Did it start with just one book, or did you have a thought of like, okay, we're going to do like 2 or 3, and then it just evolved into more?
Yeah. So I run a think tank called Libertas Institute. Basically, I'm like a full-time freedom fighter.
Yes.
And in my state where I live right now in Utah. And so I had 2 young kids at the time. They were 5 and 3. And I remember I would come home and I'd want to tell my son, my 5-year-old at the time, what I did all day long. But like, how do you talk about eminent domain to a 5-year-old? Or how do you talk about protection? Like, you know what I mean? I was struggling. Yeah. And so I did what any parent would do. I went on Amazon, right? I'm like, what books are out there that will help me talk to my kid about these things? And there was nothing. I mean, there's like stuff, like if you want to talk to your kids about sex ed, you know, there's like hundreds of books that will kind of like talk about an important, controversial, sensitive topic that will help parents kind of talk about that, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, there's got to be something like that for freedom stuff. And there was a little bit of stuff for like the Constitution. There was a little bit of stuff for like American history. But there wasn't anything for like these fundamental principles and values. And so I spent about a week being bummed, like, I wish there was something, you know. It was like, you dolt, you talk about entrepreneurship and innovation and whatever all the time. Why don't you practice what you preach? And so so we did the first book, and it was just a total test. We're like, you know, is this going to flop? Maybe we'll sell 100 books. But it caught on pretty quick. And,
That's great.
And to us, that was like a market signal, like, you know, there's demand for this kind of thing.
There is.
So then we've kept it going ever since.
Yes. When did the series begin? What year was that? How long ago?
2014. So it's been 5 years.
Okay.
So we have 10 books and we do 2 a year. It takes us about 6 or 7 months each book.
Oh, okay. All right. Which one was the first one that you did?
It was the Tuttle Twins Learn About the Law, based on Bastiat's The Law.
Okay. Oh my gosh. This is just...
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I'm so excited. I feel like David now. I'm just sitting there like, yes.
So I don't read a whole lot of books, and the law is one of them I did get through, and it's really neat that my kid knows what I read, you know. It's like,
Absolutely, right?
They're so well written, and the illustrations are also fantastic. I mean, because there's something on each page. So even when the younger ones are listening to me and David, you know, when we read these, they're still enjoying, like, oh, I'm looking at, like, my 4-year-old's like, whoa, look at the picture, you know, and what's going on. And the way even the illustrations break it down, but they're just fantastic. I really want to shout it from a mountaintop that these are so great. What is upcoming now? I got a couple emails about you guys are working on curriculum. Yeah, can you share about that, please?
Sure. So we've been doing all these books, and 2 years ago we had the thought, like, as great as it is that there's all these like-minded people getting the books for their kids, and that we're kind of bringing in an audience, we need to get the millions of kids out there who are in school, who are never going to learn this stuff and need to learn this stuff. So we started building a little bit of like class studies, unit studies around a couple of our books. And we did a test. We probably raised about $150,000. And it was this kind of pilot project to get into schools. And so we had this curriculum. We had a bunch of books. And so then we purchased lists of teachers. We mailed them. We marketed to them online. And it was like, hey, teachers, we've got these lesson plans that we'll give you for free, and we will send you a box of books, one for each of your students, that they can take home and learn. And the response was great. The problem is that was very resource intensive, right? Like, it took a lot of money to be able to do, and we weren't fundraising fast enough. And so about 9 months ago, I had the idea of pivoting from the classroom into the home. And so what we launched 3 weeks ago is it's a home family curriculum called Free Market Rules, which is a double entendre because it's the rules of the free market, but then also like, free market rules. Right? And so it's at freemarket.TuttleTwins.com. And what it is when families sign up, every single week, they will get an email with 5 pieces of content in it. And we start them off. Everyone starts at week 1, no matter when you sign up. And you'll get I think the first lesson is what are needs and wants. And so the younger kids are going to have a little activity or a game or something about that idea. And then for teens, we've got an age appropriate, lots of different pieces of content for them. And then the whole family can talk about it together with what we call dinner conversation starters. So that they can talk about what you're all learning that week. And so then week by week, we get more complex as we're learning and building upon these ideas. And pretty soon, we got a whole family of free marketeers who understands these complex economic ideas in a simple, kid-friendly way. But they really get these principles better than probably 99% of people out there.
That's a beautiful thing. And that's kind of our flavor here, too, is like, we don't know a whole lot. I understand the basics of the NAP and libertarianism and free markets and stuff like that. But I think part of our show is we go out and learn from other people and learn with the people watching us. So I think this is like a really cool style there too.
Very, very much so.
Keep it basic.
This has been really interesting for me because we started out as doing kids books, like we want to teach kids. What we found is that easily about 35 or 40% of the parents who get our books are not libertarian. They're not free market folks. They haven't read any of these books. They don't know who Bastiat is or Hayek or Rothbard or anyone else. They've just heard from like a mom in their youth group or church group or neighbor friend or whatever. These are great books for your kids. And so we get emails, or social media comments and everything all the time from parents being like, I never knew this stuff. I never learned this in school. Like, this is amazing. I'm learning along with my kids. So that's been a huge thing for us. And now with this free market rules curriculum, we've been very intentional about that to say we provide a lot of supporting material for the parents so that they can learn kind of the simple ideas so that they can talk about it with their kids and the whole family can learn together.
Yep. Oh, we are so getting that. I'm so pumped.
I'm really excited about the whole concept.
Yes.
I think it's awesome infiltrating the homes with
libertarian
thought. On accident on their part. That's kind of neat.
Yeah, where the parents just like, wait, what? Oh, wow, I didn't know this, and this makes sense, and how wonderful. Oh, I'm like goosebumpy right now because this is really, and you know what? This is setting up for the next generation to already come in and already have this knowledge, and then they can teach their kids, but it's going to be different when our kids are older because they're going to know, it's not that they're going to learn it when they're 20 or 30 like me.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I use this example when I'm talking to our donors and stuff. I say, imagine the liberty movement is an orchard and it's full of trees, and these trees are old and a lot of them are decaying and they're rotting, and that gardener is taking his fertilizer, his buckets of fertilizer, and he's going out to these trees and just trying to restore them to good health. Right? Yes. These old trees, they got to be healthy, and we're dumping bucket loads of fertilizer. Well, sure, that's important. We got to save the old trees that have been decaying and whatever. But good grief, like if you're in charge of that orchard, you're going to be focusing on the seeds and the saplings to make sure that over the long term, those new trees don't end up like the old
trees.
And too often in the liberty movement, we're out there with all these nonprofits and these groups focusing on educating adults. We need to do it. We got to fertilize the sick old trees, but we need way more people in the liberty movement to be focusing on our saplings, our kids, and so that's what we're trying to do.
Wow, that's so.
That is very cool.
What a great way to put that. Absolutely.
Our comments locked up.
Our comments locked up. They do that all the time. Thanks, Facebook.
Facebook's amazing.
How did you get into Liberty? What's your journey? What's your story? How did this happen for you? Were you born into this, or did you find it along the way like most?
Yeah, I was raised in a Republican household, but that didn't mean very much. We weren't like very active or crazy or anything. And I went to college, and shortly after I graduated, I developed an interest in American history. I had read a few books, and suddenly I had all this free time because I didn't have tests and homework and everything else. So I just started reading a ton. And in 2005, I was invited to a film screening for a movie called America, Freedom to Fascism by the late Aaron Russo.
I remember that.
Okay.
And I was sitting in this little library. There's like 15 people there watching this thing with me. And there was this old guy in there who made a ton of sense. And I'm like, who is this person? Who's this Ron Paul guy? So I go home and I, look him up, and I just devoured his YouTube channel. I bought his book called, A Foreign Policy of Freedom. which is a compilation of a bunch of his congressional speeches about foreign policy.
Oh, wow.
Like I went on a trip to Africa, service trip shortly after that. I had this book with me, and the whole time I'm just like reading this book, and so I went deep with Ron Paul. And then I ended up on Mike Lee's campaign, Senator Mike Lee. I was kind of on his campaign really early, and that kind of first got me into like actual politics and meeting a lot of people. I started writing books around that time, and just kind of one thing led to another, where I saw an opportunity to start my own organization to kind of fill a void and do things kind of my way.
Yeah.
And haven't looked back since.
That's awesome. Can you tell us again the name of your organization?
It's the Libertas Institute. So the
Okay.
website's libertasutah.org.
Okay. David Gay wants me to let you know that Liberty Memes are huge fans. Liberty Memes is a huge fan of yours.
They're blowing up the chat.
Sweet.
Yeah, there's like thousands of hearts coming through here. Real quick, I want to say that somebody did ask that are these books relevant to people who are non-U.S. citizens, like outside of the United States?
Absolutely. I'm so glad you asked that. So our books don't focus on the Constitution. They don't focus on the American government. They focus on philosophical, economic, and political ideas. And so, yes, they are applicable elsewhere. We translate our books right now. I think we're in 9 languages, maybe 10. And we've got, thousands of people in Germany reading the books. We've got, I think,
that's awesome.
4 or 5 of our books in German right now, and thousands of them distributed there. Brazil is about to go huge with our books. We've got a big reseller there that's going to do a big push. Italy, we've got a ton. South Korea. Where else have we been big? We're about to go big in Spain, France. So,
Wow.
So it's kind of slow going, like they'll do like a couple books at a time and kind of develop a market. But that just answers the question right there, right? Like, why would, French people care about American government? Well, they don't. It's that our books focus on these kind of core values and ideas that are applicable everywhere.
That's brilliant.
Is fantastic. Absolutely.
Like
Oh, I love it. Oh, I'm so happy for you, and I'm so excited for everybody. Do your kids just love the books? Do they just eat them up? Do they love them?
Yeah, they love being the guinea pigs.
Okay.
Because they get to like have insider access and all this stuff, right? That they can be the first ones to read it and give feedback before we. It's funny, like when I print the book, my son will come to me and be like, I thought this character's name used to be this, and I thought he said this, and well, it's because you read an earlier draft, and then we kind of changed some things,
Yes.
So I have 2 kids. They really like kind of having that insider access, and they do. Most of our fans will know we do a few videos with my kids, and so we've done 2 or 3 videos now. And they love just seeing how many people are watching the videos and the comments that are made, so they get a big kick out of it.
Oh, that's so great. That's so great. Did you guys, did you get to meet Ben Swan? Did you talk to him at all? I know he was in one of the books, and so, I assume
Ben.
that, that's so great.
Ben and I have met and chatted quite a bit on a number of occasions, and have a lot of mutual respect, and so I wanted to throw him in for his own reality check.
Very cool.
We used to love that stuff. We were watching those.
Yeah, we
because
would
of
watch
Ron
that all
Paul
the time, and
times.
then he kind of faded
Yeah,
out
he
somewhere. We were
disappeared.
very concerned for him.
we didn't talk about that year that he was gone.
Yeah, I was like, what happened? Is he okay? Did something happen? But what I thought was nice is that his local television station, where I forget exactly where he was living, but they let that on the air, because the things he would be talking about. It was surprising and refreshing to see that they were allowing that to be seen.
Totally.
That's why we were kind of worried after he disappeared. You know how it gets. So what is upcoming for you? For this you said about the series, any more books in the works? Are you always like 2 steps ahead, or maybe 10 steps ahead? Like you're doing the curriculum now,
we
but
got a lot of things in the works. It's very fair to say. So when we first started doing the books, the plan was to do 8 to 10 in the series. Well, now we've done 10, right?
Yes.
And so about a year ago, we sent out a survey to our customer list, and we're like, hey, here's a few survey questions, help us out. One of the questions was, should we keep this series going? We've always talked about doing like 8 or 10 books and stopping. And what do you think? And I think it was something like 83% said, are you kidding me? In fact, that was how we worded it. There was a yes, you should stop. No, you should keep going. no, are you kidding me? Why would you ever stop? And that was like one of the options. And it was like 83% of people chose that one.
Yeah.
And so it's clear to us that there's like ever-present demand. We've got a list of like 20 or 30 book ideas kind of in the pipeline. As I said, it takes us about 6 to 7 months, and so it does take a little while. That's partly why we did this curriculum, because it's weekly content. And so while people are waiting for new books, they're getting weekly content.
Absolutely.
We're launching a card game here probably before the end of the year.
Oh wow!
So,
what?
Yeah, so it'll be a family card, like games, a collaborative, cooperative card game that reinforces the ideas from the books, and it's kind of this fun storytelling game. So we're working on that right now. What else? We're working on some secret projects I don't want to talk about yet, but we're working on a lot. There's a lot of fun stuff going on.
Oh man, I am pumped. Our kids, like, we love games.
Oh, yeah. Well.
So yeah, it's like David and I, like younger little Davey and I, we're always looking for new games to play together because we're the board game people in the house. So
yeah. Well, what's nice about what we're doing is it's a fun game, like on its own, kind of silly fun, but it's also very educational. Right?
Yes,
and so
and that's the best way.
We beta tested it with a number of families, and it's like, this was great. I can count this as homeschool time, right?
That's what I was just going to say. It's going in the binder.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. Oh gosh, well that thought just left because I have so many things that are just all the excitement in my head, and I had this question. Oh, the curriculum. How long? You said you get weekly things, and how many weeks long?
Right now it's open-ended. We're anticipating probably a 2 or 3 year curriculum, but once we kind of fully go through a lot of the economic principles, we'll probably deviate into some offshoots. For example, entrepreneurship. We could do like 2 or 3 months doing a deep dive into the principles of entrepreneurship and how to do a business plan and what marketing is and profit and loss and all that stuff. We could delve into political economy and public choice theory, and talk about a lot of the economic impacts on public policy and what it means from the government political side to have a free market. And so right now we have developed 6 months worth of content. Before we launched, we wanted to have kind of a buffer, right, and always be ahead of like the first person. And so we're creating right now. I mean, we're working on months 7 through 9, and so we'll always just be developing that and being ahead of our people. But we're tentatively planning probably 3 years max, and then we would cap it off and say, okay, you're done, good job, and off we go.
Oh man, I hope you guys never stop doing this. Just all of it together. Just the whole thing.
It's a killer.
It is. I mean,
all together, I'm
very excited about it. Okay, so Libertas Institute, did I say that right? I'm sorry.
Sure.
Okay. What is that? What made you decide that this is what we're going to do, or this is what we're focusing on, or exactly how did that start?
What do you do there?
Yeah, what do you do there at that
What would you say you do? I take the paper from upstairs and I take it downstairs. I'm a people person.
What's wrong with you people?
Thank you. I love it.
So I don't file TPS reports. That's
no, okay.
In my office. Libertas Institute is a state-based think tank. So what that means is we focus on state and local laws. We're not a national group. We don't work in other states. We don't work in Congress. It's just our state and our cities. And as a think tank, our job is we sit around all day strategizing on what laws we want to change and how we want to go about changing them.
Okay.
So we've been in operation for about 8 years now. And we've changed probably 30 or 40 laws, very substantive, impactful laws. And, so I've got about a dozen employees. We've got some policy folks, some fundraising folks, some communications folks, and everything in between. And so basically it's just like a ongoing political campaign, not like for elections or anything, but just for trying to persuade legislators to change laws X, Y, and Z, and then who are the coalitions we need to build, who are the stakeholders, what discussions do we need to have, do we do a media marketing campaign, a lot of stuff like that. But that's kind of our day-to-day job, is just trying to change laws in favor of freedom.
Oh man,
that's awesome.
That is amazing. That is.
I will say
things like that existed. That's great.
Every state has a right of center think tank like us. So, your viewers are like, okay, great, Utah. That means nothing
Yeah.
to us. If you go to spn.org, that stands for State Policy Network. So spn.org, there's a little directory map that you can get to, and your viewers can find what's the group in my state. And some are more effective than others, right? Some work on like narrowly 3 policies or whatever. Some are broad like us. But if your viewers are curious to kind of find out who's working in their backyard fighting for freedom, that spn.org would be a good place to start.
I did not know about this at all. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, you put it up there, Dave, so people can see SPN. Yay!
I also pinned Ben White, said him and his wife signed their kid up for free market rules. They're excited about it.
Nice.
Oh my gosh. This is exciting so much. I learn so much every time we get to talk to new people. This is why I love this, getting to chat. What do you do like when you're not doing all of this stuff?
Do you have downtime?
Yeah, that's the better question. The typical question I get is, how do you do so much? And kind of like what you both have touched on, I don't really do anything else.
Yeah.
Probably my one hobby is I'm a beekeeper. And so
fun.
I've got a bunch of bees in my backyard. I've got, I think, 4 or 5 hives. So I do that. But this is play for me, I feel content. I feel joyful. If I've got downtime, like when my wife and kids are in bed, I'm working, and it's work, but it motivates me. I'm helping people. We're making a difference in the world.
Yes.
It's almost addicting, like intoxicating in a way. Like I need my fix every day to be in there, like trying to move things forward. So it's all consuming.
I bet. Oh my gosh. And you know what? I really feel this.
Yeah, if you love what you do.
Yeah, and it
That'd be
shows
awesome
with
job.
you. It really does, because look at what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you can tell that
Make it a huge impact.
You enjoy, absolutely. Oh, and like starting with the youngins. I love that. Now you have written other books. Have you written other books besides? Can you share a little bit about those?
So I've written 17 books total. My latest one is a book called Skip College. I don't remember what the subtitle is. Skip College, launch your career without debt, distractions, or a degree.
Yay!
That's probably triggering for a lot of people too.
Intentionally so. So that one came out just a few weeks ago, and that's targeting like teenagers and young adults about how to build a successful career without going to college.
Yeah.
That one's actually a compilation book, and so we got a bunch of other contributors to do that together. Probably one of my favorite non-Tuttle Twins books that I've done is a book called, I don't have a copy here to show you, but it's called Lessons from a Lemonade Stand, an Unconventional Guide to Government. And this was a fun thing for me. I was asked probably like 3 or 4 years ago to go speak to this youth group up in Idaho about politics and justice and liberty. So I put together this PowerPoint with some, stories and quotes and ideas and stuff like that. And this kid, probably 13, 14 years old, I think, comes up to me after I'm done. It's like an hour-long presentation. And he comes up to me and he's like, hey, that was really good. And it's like, oh, yeah, thanks. Glad you enjoyed it. And he looks at me a little bit more intently and says, no, that was good. Like, you should turn that into a book. I'm like, okay, that's kind of a fun idea. And so that became Lessons from a Lemonade Stand. And you guys have heard the stories about like lemonade stands getting shut down by little 4-year-olds, getting shut down. And so we use that story, excuse me, we use that type of story as a way to kind of unravel government and say, well, what's happening here, and what is right and what is wrong, and what is justice and what is consent, and what, like all these different things, using the story of the lemonade stand. And so that's also written at a younger level to kind of teens and young adults. And that one's probably one of my favorite books, just because it's basically like Lysander Spooner and Murray Rothbard for teenagers.
Oh,
it's kind of a condensed version of their material for that type of age demographic. So there's a couple, there's more, but those are kind of a couple of recent ones.
Yeah. I'm just loving this. Okay, tell everybody where they can find all of this, because
yeah, if you just search my name on Amazon, you'll find the books. They're all there. the Tuttle Twins, you'll want to buy at TuttleTwins.com, because then we offer discounts and bonuses and stuff that you don't get on Amazon. But all my other books, like I've got a book for parents on education. It's called Passion-Driven Education, about how to use a child's interests as a vehicle for them to learn.
Yep.
And so I've got that one, and I've got a book called Feardom, how politicians exploit your emotions and how you can stop them.
No kidding.
So,
they do so.
Anyways, they're all on Amazon.
I love that though, and I do have to say that we purchased the books through the Tuttle Twins website, and there was some percentage off. It was a deal that was going on. There was a promo code, and then we got the PDFs and everything that went with it.
Cool.
And we had actually already purchased a bundle before, but this one had, I think, the 2 most recent books at that time.
Okay.
And so we were like, well, we're just going to get that bundle, plus we get all those PDFs and everything that we get to download and use for the kids. So we took the extras that we had and gave them to another homeschool family of ours that we knew shared the same views. It's like, and they ate them up and love them too. So,
That's great.
Hopefully they'll come and get more as things come about. I'm just so excited. I'm sorry I'm yelling.
It's
huge.
Awesome that you're here.
Yeah, thank you for being here so much.
I'm happy to. So tell me about your comment section. These are all people watching, or are they just replying, or what's going on here?
Yeah, this is all the Facebook stream. We take the live stream comments and throw them right up on there. So it's a lot of our friends, a lot of people talking about kids getting involved in Liberty with your work.
Yeah,
That's cool.
And then they also conversate amongst themselves. We're really like a fan based with our shows, so there's a lot of interaction. That's why we have the comments right up there, because a lot of times if we don't have a guest or nobody's on right now, we just talk back and forth with them.
Interact.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, we just kind of started doing this about a year ago, and we were just sitting on our couch and decided we were gonna just take out the phone
stream
and
on
just,
our phone.
Yeah, try to talk to people, get to know people. It's interesting to hear, where they came from. It gives me hope, because we all started somewhere that wasn't. I mean, most of us started somewhere that wasn't Liberty related. Yeah, we weren't born ANCAPs, so it gives me hope to know that there are people who were just like us, going out there.
So we try to keep that same flavor, but with like people that people know.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we almost need to have the next Ron Paul that's kind of a magnet to draw a lot of people in too, It's super fun for me to connect with people. I'm like, what got you in? Oh, it was this Ron Paul guy you heard of. Are you kidding me? Of course I've heard of Ron Paul.
That's what we're doing here.
Exactly.
That was the same for us too, as Ron Paul.
It's weird. There's a lot of younger people in the group, and they're like, no, we weren't active, when Ron Paul was running, and I'm like, wow, you guys just kind of found it then?
Right.
How would you find out about this?
Yeah, without Ron Paul.
Yeah. Have you gotten to meet Ron Paul then? Have you had the chance to hang out with him a lot?
Oh, several times, yeah. He's a big fan of the books as well.
Yes.
And he's actually in one of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, in the Golden Rule. In fact, so the Tuttle Twins and the Golden Rule is based off of his book that I mentioned earlier, A Foreign Policy of Freedom. Mm-hmm. And instead of doing a book about foreign policy, we did the book about the Golden Rule as a way to use a story that is a model for talking about foreign policy and the non-aggression principle. Yeah. And so it's super fun. I'll see people send me photos from time to time where he's signed their copy of the Golden Rule, since he's been there, and it's a lot of fun. He's a big fan, and I had a friend of mine at a lunch I think it was San Diego about a year ago, and he texted me while he's at this big event, and the organizers had flown Ron Paul in to speak. This was a financial investing conference or something like that, but kind of Austrian economist type people, and so they brought Ron Paul in to speak, and he texts me and he says, hey, Ron Paul's at my table, but he looks kind of bored, no one's really talking to him, and
oh my gosh.
He's just kind of looks tired, and he's just sitting there, and I was like, oh, that's kind of a bummer. And then he texted me 5 minutes later, and he's like, hey, I just brought up the Tuttle Twins to ask if he knows about him, and he lit up and was all excited talking about it, so it's super fun to hear stuff like that, the guy that I hold in high esteem and was kind of the reason that I get pulled in this movement. It's a deep honor that he is a fan of my work and talks
Absolutely.
about it. And
That would be mind blowing.
Yeah, that
ton
would.
of fun. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that David Gay says that, and this is true, that this is how the group started, our Liberty Memes community.
The whole page and everything.
Yeah, Liberty Memes was, and it says Ron Paul, or what did he say? You didn't pin his comment. Ron Paul or nothing at all.
Yeah, he was active in politics during those times too.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, they decided to start a meme page, and it ended up being one of the biggest libertarian meme pages on Facebook until they were taken down last year.
Got shut down, and now we're on like 2.0 and 3.0.
3.0, yeah.
Yeah.
They took the 3.0 off now, and they are back to Liberty Memes. And it's Liberty Memes original, but
this isn't the original.
But then he admin 2 went ahead and started a group just to kind of when he started it, it was more to promote the page and get more reach with that. And he started realizing that this group could really make some real world impact. And we started running fundraisers like that. We started organizing as a group and as a community, and we've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars in this group for people who need help, not just in the group but outside of it. We focus on a lot of GoFundMe's, things that we can really make an impact in people's lives.
Voluntary efforts of the community versus turning to the government for help that they're not going to get.
Yeah, so trying to walk the talk.
Yeah, that's what I love the most is that they are.
I gotta start sending them some of my graphics. We gotta make some Tuttle Twins Liberty memes a little better, We do. In fact, this would be fun to share in the group or something. Every April, we do an April Fool's cover. So a book cover that's an April Fool's joke. And our first one was a few years ago. It was so imagine like your I don't have any of my books here with me, but imagine your Tuttle Twins book. It's got the 2 characters on it.
Oh yeah.
My name at the bottom. Yep. And so the first one that we did was the title of the book was The Tuttle Twins Move to Somalia. And so the twins, like Emily's holding a goat, and they're wrapped in the clothes. And
it's hilarious.
This like crappy market in the background, right? Because this is like the typical libertarian.
Yeah, they're going to realize the Ancapistan.
Exactly. And then another year we did the Tuttle Twins Build the Roads, and so they're in like construction vests and hats,
I love that.
Then last year we did. I think last year was the Tuttle Twins Go to the Moon, and it was all about crypto because crypto was like starting to go up, and so they were on the moon, and they had the Elon Musk car in space behind them and all this stuff. And then this year was what did we call it? The Tuttle Twins and the Green New Deal, I think is what we did.
Oh my god.
AOC is on the cover, and they're eating Soylent Green, and the box says like no farting cows.
Bovine farts.
That Oh my gosh! Tell me these are.
So we've got kindred spirits with the memes group and some of the April Fools that we do because we have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah,
we got like 10,000 meme lords in this group. We'll have to have a competition.
Oh, tell me, are these available somewhere that we can see them? Do you post them on the Facebook page or anything?
We posted them every April on our Facebook page.
Okay.
I guess that'd be kind of hard to go back and dig, but what I ought to do is just join your group, and then I can do a post in there and share some of them.
There you go.
Definitely
there
should.
you go.
Liberty
Put a
Memes
link right here,
group.
Dave. Dave's going to type it in, or David Gay wants to type it in.
Nice.
I'll do it. I'll join and I'll post them in there. For
all right, please do. That'd be so great. Oh, there you go, Dave. I think it's the second one. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I love that. I mean, so on topic with the Green Deal thing.
Yeah. We actually, I wish I could load up the music video real quick. Admin 1 of Liberty Memes wrote a whole song about the Green New Deal, and it's hilarious. I don't have it queued up.
Well, when you get in there, we'll
does a lot
tag
of
you.
songs,
Yeah. We'll tag you.
Good.
Yeah, we'll tag you in those because they're really funny. They're really good.
Yeah.
They're really good. Yeah. He wrote one about Angelina. What's her name? ANCAP girl. Yeah.
ANCAP girl.
Good stuff. So
stop resisting.
Yeah. Well, Connor, thanks for coming on. I'm sorry we get excited and kind of get off on our own little.
No, this is great.
This is very. This is.
No,
so,
we're gonna go buy all of your books.
I know.
I just love the ideas of
whole,
everything you're pitching.
We're doing the curriculum.
Is what I need.
Yeah. Do you think that curriculum thing is something that And if it's not okay, I mean, let me know this. But is it something that I could offer, like maybe in a smaller group setting, like with a homeschool kind of co-op thing? If we had like my 3 kids plus maybe 2 other families or something, how would that work?
That's something we've got to figure out. The way we have it structured, so it's a paid subscription. So you either pay monthly or you can pay annually at a bit of a discount. And so it's intended for the families. Obviously, I'm not going to know or frankly really care if you kind of suck in another family or some kids or stuff. But we have had some people who do like a bigger homeschool co-op or a youth group, and they've wanted to kind of sign up. Our system isn't really built for that right now. And part of the challenge too is you're getting that content every single week. And so if some kids don't show up, to the group or whatever, it gets a little bit harder because they're behind. And so it makes the most sense right now that it's like this family unit or a very cohesive group so that they can do it together every single week.
Right.
We're trying to think through how we retool the system now that we've launched it, just how we can say, hey, we have a youth group option, whatever you call a youth group. And so we're trying to figure that out right now.
Yep.
Yeah, ethically, we can learn together, but everybody should have their own subscription to and their own materials.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. But no, I mean, it does make sense to stay kind of keeping your own kids on track. 'Cause it is like, regular school, if you miss something and then you're trying to play catch up and stuff, it's really, really hard. So, no, but I like that. Yep.
Some weird.
Oh, no, I don't have sunburn. I'm just, somebody said in the comments that I look sunburned, but no, this is just me being
very
hot
excited.
And blotchy and excited. This is what happens when I get excited. My Irish shows because I get all blotchy.
Irish sunburn.
Connor, where should people go then? Tuttle Twins, Facebook? Do you got the website? What else?
Yep. So TuttleTwins.com is where you can find the books. freemarket.TuttleTwins.com is where you can find the free market rules curriculum. And if you're interested in learning about our think tank, you can go to libertasutah.org. And then if you're interested in any of the other books, just go find me on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Everybody go do that.
I'm writing these down because normally in 2 days I'll do more posts of thanking you for coming on and sharing your links.
This has been awesome. Thank you so much, Connor. We hope you have a wonderful evening. Please come back anytime you have anything to share or anything new and exciting, or you just want to hang out with 2 people who like to chat.
We'll be here anyways.
Because we're going to be here.
That sounds great. Well, I'm glad I could talk to David, too. It's always fun for me to talk to the kids who are actually benefiting the most. So I'm glad he could come on.
Yeah, he was his little face was adorable, and he just kind of got like starstruck, like, oh, here he is.
Nervous.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he's pretty hyper and loud, and I'm like, wow, this is
he
really
neat. Quieted down. Yeah. So thank you for that too. Have a wonderful
glad I
night.
Help calm him down for you.
Yeah. Have a good weekend.
Hey, thanks, guys. See ya.
Good night.
All right.